Hey guys, it's Layla from Ignite, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing the ending of George Orwell's 1984. If you're a student who is studying the HSC this year and you'd like some extra resources to facilitate those studies, please do check out our website www.ignitehsc.com.au. We've got loads of resources dealing with the textual analysis of HSC text being studied, context, form, exemplar essays, literally everything you could need to help you navigate through your HSC studies of English. So check it out. But for now, let's get into today's content. So a common, misconception that students engage, or just questions which arise, concern what actually occurs at the ending of George Orwell's 1984. Does Winston escape? Is there a sense of freedom that is offered? Or is all of the above quashed in the face of Winston's ultimate submission to Big Brother? And I'm afraid to admit the answer is actually the latter. Winston is not freed from any control. His rebellion, his affair with Julia is rendered futile. And I guess the reason that Orwell does this is to shock his contemporary reader into a realization that there is an inevitable sense of helplessness that taints his contemporary world. And that if the individual is not aware of those senses of agency and autonomy being quashed, then the future, and I guess the resolution for Winston, may well be a reality if it already isn't for future individuals living under totalitarian regimes. So the short, crux of this video is that the novel ends with a submission of Winston to the modes of the party's control and what Big Brother represents. Winston's desire and lust for Julia is actually replaced by a symbolic rape which is engaged against him by the party. Quotes such as "we will fill you with ourselves" suggests that Winston's penetration of Julia as an act of rebellion is reciprocally replaced with and then inserted by the symbolic rape of the party to, force Winston into a submission, a point of submission, and a willingness to accept the ideology of Big Brother, which we see at the ending of the text. So if you're actually planning your essay and the progression of an essay, I think a nice structure to take forward with you is notions of control or confinement or imprisonment in your first paragraph, and how totalitarian control seeks to limit the experience of the individual. Second paragraph could focus on the attempt of rebellion and how desire and sexual interaction, or the emotions or the passions of our existence, are actually really inherent to human experience. And then your final paragraph might look at the resolution of that trajectory, that being that ultimately rebellion is futile, and within Orwell's context, given the elements of control that were taking place, the possibility of freedom is absolutely revoked and replaced with a, imperative submission to modes of power, which is what happens to Winston. So to, facilitate my analysis of this ending, what I'm now going to do is give you two central quotes from the ending of the text, and I'll discuss how these quotes are really emblematic for the ending more broadly, and how they signify submission as inevitable within the narrative of Winston. Okay, so the two quotes that I'm working with, I'll read through them first, and then I'll go through and I'll analyse each of them in isolation, because they, for me, summarise the essence of what happens at the ending of the text. So the first quote: 2 + 2 = 5, and they can't get inside you, she had said, but they could get inside you. So looking at that quote just briefly before I give you exemplar analysis, some quick issues to identify is 2 + 2 = 5 is a motif throughout the text, and it's a motif with which Winston has an issue, right? Because he knows that 2 + 2 does not equal 5. 2 + 2 = 4 is, an indicia of truth, of objective truth, that gives Winston some sense of his own intelligence and his own ability to interrogate those truths that are being stuffed down his throat throughout the text, that he is being forced to accept. The fact that he now does accept that as a truth is, symbolic for him actually being brainwashed, him being propelled and forced to believe that which is not objectively true. The next part of the quote, they can't get inside you. So that's the past of Winston, his inability to become persuaded by the party's regimes, which is then replaced with the premise, but they could get inside you. They do get inside Winston in a symbolic, metaphorical sense. They fill him with their ideology. And of course, there's the very sexual, I guess, homoerotic, rapist undertone to that they do in this sense rape him with the ideology of Big Brother. We then have the next quote down here, 2 gin-scented tears trickled down from the sides of his nose. But it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. The gin-scented tears hold particular symbolic value because gin is the substance the party gives Winston, to which he becomes addicted, and it's a form of their manipulation of him. And the fact that he is, I guess, excreting or letting go of a substance that has been fed to him by the party shows that literally the bodily fluid which constitutes Winston has been informed and given to him by the party. It really accentuates the extent to which he has literally become filled with their ideology, their power, and their ways of thinking. Okay, the next sentence here, but it was all right, everything was all right. This repetition of all right almost offers a kind of sense of hope that maybe Winston is okay. He is still aware of the control to which he's been subject, but that repetition is overcome by the irony. The struggle was finished. He'd won the victory over himself, as though the real struggle was his will to question, his inherent challenge to the powers of the party, the thing that was keeping him actually alert and independent and a man with agency. That has been removed. His integrity has been removed. He loved Big Brother. The high modality, the ending there, the emotion that he now channels not towards Julia, the sign of rebellion, but rather towards Big Brother, alongside the fact that his struggle has now been removed, seems to suggest, and in fact very objectively suggests, that submission, struggle being overcome, and complete, I guess, subservience to the modes of power of Big Brother is what really ends this text. And the possibility for hope is completely revoked. Orwell ends the text on this note to shock his contemporary reader into an awareness that if modes of control and submission of the individual continue, that we will be welcoming a death and, I guess, removing our sense of question in the same way that Winston does, the most defiant figure in this text for its majority, by its ending. So it's serving to shock the contemporary reader about the dangers of a human experience where our agency and our autonomy and our will to survive has been removed. So after discussing that, let me now show you how you could really put this into full sentences into your essays if you were to kind of base a paragraph on the ending of the text. So looking at that first quote, the motif of the equation also marks the conversion of Winston to complete submission of the party's value. The ability of the party to figuratively get inside you marks the symbolic conversion of Winston's beliefs. Carried within this symbolic filling, as I mentioned, the sexual undertone, are homoerotic undertones of torture that Winston endures. Because of that torture, he is propelled to fully submit and be subservient to the power that Big Brother represents. And then, of course, the gin-scented tears. The key points to take note of here, the sensory imagery and emotive language in gin-scented tears. The struggle within oneself is marked as final through the divinative modality in won the victory. So the modality there, or that you could say the definitive tone, enables that sense of completion in the journey of Winston. And the finality of the tone, and he loved Big Brother, ends the novel with no doubt that Winston has completely submitted to the party, his death symbolising his ultimate devotion. That's how you could put any bits of that quote, if you were to isolate any of it, into analysis and into a potential essay for an exemplar that you might write. Okay guys, thank you for watching the clip. I hope that has clarified your understanding of the ending to Big Brother. If you do like our content, like the video, subscribe to our channel, pop in any questions in the comments. And of course, as I mentioned, if you want that extra help to really enhance your studies for English Standard and Advanced and Extension 1 courses, check out our website. You won't regret it. We've got so much insight there that has been put together from state ranking students, Head of English in New South Wales. There's a real strong team behind their curation. So check them out and get ahead with your studies. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like the content, subscribe to our channel and we'll have more videos coming your way.
That's right, guys. Thanks for watching. And please make sure you check out our online resource database. We've had a team of state rank achievers and heads of English put these together for you, covering everything from essay structures and examples all the way through to craft of writing and comprehension skills. So check them out at ignitehse.com.au, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.